Well, good everybody. So we're in La Sable d'Olonne again, in the office here for the second day. Now we'll be here pretty much all the time, so we'll keep updating you. It's a grey, overcast, won't say depressing, but cool day here in La Sable d'Olonne. Spring just seemed to have disappeared again already, and the activity out in the harbour, they're actually dredging the depth of the marina pool here, ready for the Yamokas and the Bondi, starting in November this year. I think it is, yeah, November. Hard to believe. I remember well the last time the Bondi started here, and it seemed like not so long ago, but it was nearly 4 years ago. So time flies, and the OGR will be over soon. Touch wood. Quick peek before we get to the starting a bit early, just before we get to the new positions, because everyone's parked up. It's quite amazing to see. Basically, the last 4 or previous 4 hours doing 2 knots. Jeremy's doing 2, Explorer's doing 2.2, Evrika 1.7, Triana 4.2. They're flying. White Shadow 2 knots. Neptune 1.3 knot. Outlaw 2.4 knots. So happy to see translated overnight. Translated 2.5 knots, and Galliana with Secure still sailing. They're right on the edge of it, doing 4.8, so they'll be happy with that. Maiden up the top there, 3.2, so everyone's fallen in this hole here, not much they can do. L'Esprit de keep flying away, 7.6. I just spoke to them on the phone, so they're very happy with that. And even Pen Duick, 8.6, pays to be out to the east at the moment, and I think you're going to see that dividend sort of hold true, even though they're picking up the benefit by being to the east because of local weather. You know, it would have been good out there even with the usual breeze that we're getting, and normally be coming from the southeasterly trades rolling around. Anyway, it's not a lot going on there, but it's all about to change, and we can talk about that when they come through with the new position shortly. Now I'll come back here. And we'll talk about some of the things that are going on with the fleet. Here we go. So you probably saw on the heading here, well, there's not a lot of people here yet, so some are going to miss out and cop it later. But Maiden's running out of water, quite significantly so. We got a contact from Heather. We knew, or last night, we knew that they didn't have a generator, but then they got things happening again, and there are 2 inverters on board have been fried, apparently. I'm not sure whether they'll have a chance to get those operational again. So even if they do get the generator going, that creates some issues, I believe. But the reason Heather contacted us was just to keep us in the loop that they are not able to make water with their desalinator now, and they're only down to 1 week of water. So here we are 1 week out from the start, and they've got no water maker, and then they've only got a week's worth of water left. They do have a large Survivor 35 manual desalinator. It's like the size of a grease gun. It's about this big, and it's got a big handle, and you pump it. It's mandatory on board all the boats to have at least what we call a Survivor 06, which is a small one. And with the small one, if you pump that for an hour, you'll get about 0.8 of a litre or something, 0.9 of a litre. So in a survival situation, it's enough to keep you alive. The big one, however, is actually quite solid. You know, pumping that for an hour, it's got a big lever, and obviously you put more effort into it. Pumping that Survivor 35, you will get up to about 1.5 gallons an hour, which is 6 litres. So if you pump it for 2 hours solid, you'll get about 12 litres. So that's near enough to a litre per person on board. And you could survive on that. If you're going to be drinking it regularly as your main source, you probably should have about 1.5 litres or even up to 2 litres, depends. So they've got that desalinator. If they crack that open, and I would imagine they may do soon, if not already, they will get a 48-hour time penalty because it's meant to be used as a survival device. And they are very reliable, but they can fail quite significantly. They're designed for survivors in a life raft rather than an onboard unit. But many adventurers use those 35s for various applications in expeditions on kayaks and in some rowing trips, across the Atlantic and so on. Or they'll have an electrified version of that similar system. And they're, as I say, they're very reliable. We deal with them a lot. I sold thousands of these units to the military in previous business for 12 years. So I know them very well. I was involved with that company for nearly 30 years. And they are reliable, but they can fail. Anyway, that's one option. The other one is that they've got is to catch water uh, as soon as it rains, and they're sort of heading up to the doldrums. I'm not sure. There has been a bit of rain around. Some entrants have spoken about that. But in the doldrums, potentially you can get some dumps of rain there, which are quite massive. And if you can collect it quick enough and get it into your tank, you could get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of liters of water into your tanks. You could fill up. Oh, we've got another call here. Hang on, you might be able to see what this is, and it says Rika. Just stand by. You might get a bonus here. Hello, it's OGR.
Hello, Don. Dominic, Rika speaking.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Fine.
That's good.
Sorry, I missed the schedule of the weekly call because of the change of the local hour yesterday.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want to? I'm just on the middle of a live tracker update at the moment, so it's going live. But do you want to just keep going? How's everything on board?
Yeah, everything is going well on board now, and we repair all we have to repair. We have no wind now.
Yeah. So it was a pretty significant repair job. We got the photos, and now you've got your asymmetric going. You've got a spinnaker pole strapped out or something.
The spinnaker pole is out of order, and then we build a new track point for the spinnaker in the oldest track point of the Genoa.
Yeah.
It works, but we don't have any pulpit now.
Yeah. So you repaired the generator. Have you got it furling, or you're just using the foil as a straight foil to hold the?
No. I'm sending you a video. You can see the reparation of the server, which was like quite new, stronger as the new one. But no, the server is okay now.
Oh, good.
Most great. Yeah, that's good. And our generator was still a problem with the fuel. There's mud and dust in the fuel, and don't arrive to clean it properly. But,
yeah, right.
We are on the subject, and we will fix it today or
Yeah.
next day.
So what actually happened when you speared the buoy? Was Triana was really close, of course. Can you describe that?
Yeah, Triana was a little bit. On the west side, 2 lengths in front of us. It was heading a lot to the buoy, and he missed his tack, and finally was on side, 2 lengths, less than 2 lengths in front of us. As we arrived at 7 knots the wave, and we tried to tack, but only 2 lengths was enough for us. It was like every car, and then we hit the bow 2 meters after the bow, and then everybody turned, was stopped, and then we finished on the buoy.
Okay, wow. Pretty dramatic. We got a photo. We have a photo of your bowsprit stuck in the buoy.
Yeah, but Rihanna has probably a big damage in his bow. His knob on the side and 2 meters after the bow, and probably at the back of his hull, because he falls down on our rail. Yeah, the hull to take down this big rail on the swan, and the wave after, boom, down, he falls on our rail. We heard a big crack. Said he has nothing, but
Yeah.
the only problem is the chase plate of the Forte, which is vented. Yes, clockwork, and I'm not happy with that because we will have to change it probably at the end, and I don't want to save too hard with vented chain plate.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah. Okay. So it'd be all a bit of a shock, but anyway, glad to see everyone's okay.
Yeah. No personal damage. Everybody is safe and warm, and big fair.
Yeah. So how's everything else? Like getting a bit warm, or you what are you thinking of most now? Like, what's the topic of conversation with the crew?
No, it's only 3 knots of wind, so we don't take any risk. We're sailing at 2 knots all the night, 20 knots in the last 12 hours. It's very, very 20 miles in the last 12 hours. It's very, very, very slow. And then I hope I have enough cigarettes to finish the race.
Yeah, jeepers. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Anyway, that's good. So, okay, do you want to do a French report now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I give the phone to Jan.
Yep. Okay, and I'll carry on with my live here and get Jane to get that. Hang on, I'll pass you over to Jack. Just a second. I'll pass you over to Jack. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't want to stop the live here. So I don't know whether you heard all that, but anyway, it was quite interesting, and it'll be up on the SoundCloud shortly. So a bit of a delay there, but hopefully you were listening to it. So I was talking about Maiden and what they might do. Spirit of Helsinki was only 3 miles away, and they'd offered to give water across. But of course, to do that, that would mean that Maiden has actually taken outside assistance, which would enact the situation of pulling them out of the rankings for leg 4. So that's an absolute last resort. If Helsinki did that, they would get time compensation for stopping and organising the transfer. It's sort of like a very tricky situation, because it's part of a racing tactic. When you leave port, if you want to sail light, you get rid of most of your water, and then use the desalinator to replace that water. To be 1 week out from the start and have 1 week's worth of water left, there's not a whole lot. So there's not a lot we can do. We just got to sit tight and watch now, and hopefully they will. I'm pretty confident they probably will activate their desalinator and take the 48 hours, but maybe not. They could get some rain any time and carry on regardless. So it's a situation to watch. We're not overly concerned about their safety, neither's Heather. She's very much in control. We had a good conversation last night about this, and then again shortly after, just to look at the ramifications of what options they had. So watch this space. All very interesting. Apart from that, Tapio caught a fish. We've spoken to Tapio. That was Evrika. We also spoke to who else? Spirit of Helsinki today. A few others. So they're enjoying the calms as much as it's frustrating. But there's going to be winners and losers with the weather coming up. That's for sure. Okay, so I think we'll just go straight to the tracker now and get into that. Hopefully you'll see here, there's the tracker, and I'm assuming everything's still happening. So you can see now there's new positions. They haven't gone very far at all. The predominant weather is this big hole here with no wind, and Pen Duick being out to the east is still sailing well, 8 knots, and L'Esprit de Keep is still in the breeze as well, 7.4. So they'll be very happy. 7.4 and 117 mile day. So it hasn't been all glory. They've slowed down a bit. And Pen Duick in the last 24 hours has done 143. So not too bad. And there's the dividing line, and pretty much all the other boats are sitting on the other side of that wind line. Translated 9, only 3 knots, 87 nautical miles. And we've got Galliana with Secure doing 4.7, not too bad, 120 miles. Tapio was saying on the phone conversation in 2 hours they'd changed sails about 4 or 5 times. They're just going through every sail because the wind had shifted through 270 degrees. So they were just moving round and round. And he was also saying they've carried a couple of spinnakers that they've hardly used. So they've overcated in that department. Daily run for translated at 120. Sorry, for Galliana with Secure, and translated daily run 87. So very slow, but probably enjoying the serenity as long as they know everyone else is stopped as well. If you think someone's sailing, it's really frustrating. Outlaw, they crossed over with translated. I mentioned that before. Happy to see them. They feel pretty cool about that. Only did 87 in the last 24 hours and doing 1.8 knots at the moment. Neptune, 1.2, 95 miles in the day. White Shadow, 0.9, did 73. Explorer, 1.5, they've slowed down, 95. Sterner, 1.3, and they did 80. So everyone, including Triana, 2.1, they've just stopped, just parked. Temperature will be up. So Maiden and Helsinki still alongside each other. Maiden's doing 5.7 on a 96-mile day, and Helsinki doing 5.7 on 96 miles. They've probably got that a bit smaller. They could have opened that up. Maiden and Helsinki are still very close together. Let's just see how far that is, just to show you what's going on. 5.5 miles apart. So this is where they came very close last night and continued alongside each other. Let's see roughly how long ago that was. This was during the night, so that's 30 miles away. So that was probably when the calls were going on. So they were standing by, but we advised them. As I say, Heather called twice, and after the second one, we conferred on what we could and couldn't do. We were tempted to do something in the spirit of the OGR, maybe give them a 10-hour time penalty or not a 10-hour, a 1-week time penalty for taking on water. But we significantly couldn't do that. I have a group of advisors that I use on things like this, mainly because it would be unfair to Godspeed, unfair to Sterner, unfair to Explorer, and unfair to Translated 9, because they've all taken a hit for outside assistance, and it is a racing tactic to sail light and not carry so much water on. I'm not sure what the other boats are doing, but on Explorer, basically carrying 800 litres of water, which is a huge weight. And as soon as they use up 200 litres, they top up again with the desalinator. So there's always at least 600 litres there, which is enough for a significant amount of sailing without having any rain. So there was no way we could move. We had to stick with the interpretation of the notice of race, and it specifically says no resupply of food or anything from anyone at sea or from a boat. So that's the story there. So what's happening with the weather going forward? Here we go. I'll come back a little bit more on that and see what it's going to do in the next couple of days. Pull it down here. Well, first of all, to have a look at what's going on overall, you can see completely confused, and it's like it's in the wake of this really tight little low pressure. It's quite intense for here. It's in the sort of 40s, 40 to 50. 40. No, hang on a sec. That's 45. Where are we? No, 30s. Yeah, it's quite high. So it's a significant little blow. You wouldn't want to be hooked up in that, but it's as if it's drained everything behind it as it's been moving across. There is no obvious South Atlantic high pressure system, a big high here. It's been shuffled around by this guy here, and even down here in another low pressure. So that's the only thing that looks like a high right there, and it's just left a mess behind. So no strong trade winds. They haven't really shown up yet, just this mismatch. So that's part of the reason, and it's certainly mucked up Marie's plans, going way out to the east here. It's not traditional weather, so the traditional track didn't really work. The same with Translated 9. They come up earlier, but they're still way behind Galliana with Secure. In fact, just to give you a few laughs, not a few laughs, I mean, Galliana's sailing really well, but she's currently nearly 80 miles in front of Translated 9, There we go. Yeah, 97 miles in front of translated 9. So Galeana's absolutely been sailing hard, and the dividends are paying off there. And Tapio was saying also that he had some very good routing advice just before they left. There's a guy, another Finnish guy, came down to Punta, and they discussed the weather for a day and gave them routing advice. They followed that advice, and Tapio's very happy with where they're sitting at the moment. We just had some city officials come in here to the office just to check it out, because this will be taken over by the Vendée. And of course, the Esprit de Keep is sponsored by Le Sable d'Olonne, and we were talking about it. They're certainly doing really well at the moment, and so far so good. So because they haven't had a lot of good luck in the last leg or so, but this time they're right up there. So quite impressive. Third in line honours, fifth in IRC, second in flyer class. That's not too bad. Okay, so back to the weather. Just pushing through. So nothing's happening straight away, just getting more organised in terms of the whole. So there's a bit 12, and then all of a sudden, about around midnight tonight, the breeze starts to fill in just before midnight. So you can see then you've got a gradient coming across here, so that they're going to be sitting tight for another 12 hours, or say 10 or 12 hours, but then we'll see them start to move. Not so good for Sterner, because it's sort of all right there. That'll keep them going up on starboard tack, but then it's going to come in from here and blow hard from dead ahead. Explorer will keep moving. They should be doing 4 knots, I suppose. Vrika will be happy. They'll be up on course. Everyone's got a bit of breeze then by tonight, which is fine. And then it starts to change and strengthen and swing. So you can see in 2 presses of the button by 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. This is our time here in UK and France and so on. The wind has come right on the nose. So Explorer's copped it right on the nose. These guys out to the east, it's still coming from the east, so they'll be able to reach across this. Not sure what will happen with Maiden and Helsinki, because they might run out of breeze. They're going to run up into this other one. But these guys here, certainly perfect. They're going to be moving quite nicely. Everything from there down, from Triana across, Triana will be up into no wind. Evrika and so on will be headwinds, so they'll be tacking. And Explorer too, and those winds are going to increase in strength by the look of it. Oh no, not too bad. So there's the 14th. Oh, there's another big hole. So here we go. By this time, in 30 hours, they'll be back into more light winds again. So it's fluctuating, and then by the time we get into the 15th, 2 days out, by then this fleet, this is where it's going to get really crazy. Let's just say this is in 2 days, they're going to be in this calm again. So it might be a chance for, I'd say, the lead fleet are going to be bogged down here somewhere in this one. And even though they're headwinds, it might be a chance for these in the back a bit to gain some ground on them. They'll be tacking, but it might work. Depends how long that hole here is going to last. But it's a big one. Cheapers, it's as big as the doldrums. So there it is there. The doldrums haven't started working, but that's quite a blocking band between the trade winds and the others. So the first one's out there. That's on the 15th, and it's been holding for 12 hours. 12, yeah, it's still just sitting there. Wow, that's right through. That's the 16th, 3 days' time. It's going to be very hard for the leaders to push through that hole. Okay, very hard indeed. They're all just going to head out into there and maybe stop. And so the tail enders, even though it's windward is the same, they might have a chance to catch up. So watch this space. All right, that's enough there. And what's happening on the leaderboard? Line on us. Spirit of Helsinki is where do we go? Distance to the finish. 5171, 5177. So is about 6 miles ahead of Maiden. Then Maiden is 30, 40 miles, 30 miles in front of Esprit de Keep. Galeana was secure just behind that. Triana. So it goes down the list. White Shadow, Evrika, Outlaw, Pen Duick, Neptune. Pen Duick jumped up the ladder a bit. Sterner, and followed up at the bottom by Explorer. So that's the line on us. At least it's getting a little bit organised. But just looking at this. Oh, anyway, yeah, we'll do it. The weather's really means until the first boats into the trades are the ones that's going to take off, and I think the fleet's going to be bunched up until they get through that second band of no wind. So IRC Triana, 52 days and 8 hours. Galliana was secure, right up there, 52 days and 19 hours. Only 11 hours behind. It's pretty cool. And then Maiden, quite a way back there. So another 2 days. Just under 2 days. So a day and 3/4. Then Spirit of Helsinki, quickly looking at that, a day and a bit. And then it goes down to L'Esprit de Keep, about 12 hours. And then White Shadow behind that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 days behind. So then it starts to open up. But Pen Duick will be really happy. They've actually climbed above Explorer. I know that was their main objective. They wanted to take on Explorer as a serious competitor, and now they're in front by about 3 days. So that's pretty cool. All right, watch this space. Still too hard to pick. I mean, and the other interesting thing we look at, if we look at what the reality is, I mean, it all looks very, quite hectic. But the reality goes something like this: between the first and last, we've got about on the course, on the rum line, probably only about 200 miles, technically speaking. Okay, that's course for course. There's about 200 miles in it. So even though boats are all over the place, if we take what I call the competitive fleet, if we went something like that, there's only about 150 miles in it between Maiden, Helsinki, and Neptune, translated 9, all the rest of it's 150 miles. That's less than a good day. So this is all about sailing, distance on time situation. When you're going really slow, it's very frustrating. Seems like a lot, but the reality is once they get into the trades, someone's going to take off, and that's where the rich get richer. The boats that are in the front, the first one across this line, if we look at that, is like a preliminary doldrums. The first one to get into these trades is going to clear out and be consistent. And then if we look at, once again, I'll have a look at when do I think they'll be there. They'll probably be there. Okay. I'm fluffing around a bit here. You can go if you need to. But anyway, okay, so about 1,200 miles. They were normally 6, 7, 8 days. So probably about 8 days, maybe 9 days before they actually get into the doldrums. It's now the 13th, so that would be the 22nd. So if we come right up here, and let's say around about the 20th, what's the doldrums looking like? Yep, they're going to be there. Still, this is what it's been showing in the past. It's going to be there, yes. So they will have a bit of a doldrums, but you can see there, this is the path along this side by Recife to get through it, and it doesn't look too bad there. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, that's a long one because of Afrika's call. So we'll just get onto here and just see what's going down now. Okay. Okay, Kathleen, morning. Oops, I just lost it. Made it home. Okay, Rob's back. Rob was on Explorer for leg 3. Cheapest was on Explorer for leg 3. Good to see you home. Hi, Sue. Peeps, good afternoon. Bonjour, morning. Thanks, we could hear. Sorry, mate, may have to take 48-hour penalty, for the desalinator. Luck in sailing is so fickle. Yep. Does Avrika think this is the time for their SoundCloud call? No, they realised they didn't get the right time, and they said, sorry, they missed it because they changed over their own onboard ship's local time and mixed it up. So when that happens, they can come on any time. They missed their scheduled call. We don't have any scheduled call for the 1 o'clock tracker, and I just thought it was fun just to let you hear. Hopefully you heard. I'm not sure, but anyway, it'll be on SoundCloud. Okay, Virgo, what's happening with Maiden? They're running out of water and no desalinator anymore. So remember, it really is about survival out there. Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a funny one when you run out of the water. It sounds funny. That's important. But again, I'll stress it's a racing tactic. So you pay the price if it doesn't work. And a lot of people do it. It's not as if they've done anything wrong. In fact, it's probably pretty smart. It's just unfortunate they've lost their generator and they can't charge with the engine, and they've lost their inverters. I'm not sure what's driving their desalinator. Maybe it's a 12-volt one. It's no, well, I'm not sure. Won't be 12 volt. I'm not sure, but they need the inverters apparently to make the water to 240 volts. So again, maybe they can rig something, but Heather didn't sound too confident on that. That's why she alerted us to the fact. But they're very good at what they do, and I have no concerns for them at all. Hi, Don, is really about survival. Yep. Greetings from Cyprus. Yep. Not over till the fat lady sings. A little off topic, Don. I've been fortunate in having been a few logos adopted. Need to congratulate you on the McIntyre Adventure logo. Perfectly conveys the purpose. Oh, thanks. That was done by a friend of ours, Anetta, who coordinated all our early stuff, and we're still using it going back to 2010 or something. I can't remember, earlier than that. Warren, great picture of Pen Duick VI sailing to windward with only jib and staysail. Yeah, it's a good video, eh? And there is a Jane transcribed the video, so there's a English text there for Pen Duick's video from Marie. Hope Motor resolved the issue. YB Tracker app line on his rankings has been absent for a couple of days. Okay, I'll have a look at that. The app's not as good as the computer. You've got everything on the computer. Yes, hope the possible hacking issue has been totally cleared. Hope the possible hacking issue, I don't know. That's Twitter and Facebook and everything. They've all got challenges. Okay, that's it. It was a long one. Sorry for that, but it was all fun. So we'll see you tomorrow.